The blood on Mia's lip tasted like copper and shame. She didn't bother wiping it away. What was the point? They'd only knock her down again. Get up, empty blood. Ashley's voice dripped with mockery as she circled Mia like a predator toying with wounded prey. Her golden wolf eyes gleamed even in human form, that telltale shimmer of power that marked every shifter in the Shadowpine pack. Or are you going to cry to Margaret again? Oh, wait. She can't even look at you without remembering what a disappointment you are. Laughter rippled through the training grounds. Dozens of young wolves, all of them blessed with their beasts, all of them whole, watched Mia struggle to her knees in the dirt. The evening sun cast long shadows across the clearing, and somewhere in the distance, she could hear the pack elders conducting the moonrise ceremony for the newest shifters who'd just experienced their first transformation. Mia would never have a ceremony, because Mia had no wolf. 20 years old, and still nothing.
No shift, no heightened senses.
No supernatural strength. Just a human girl trapped in a world where humanity meant weakness, and weakness meant you were less than nothing. I said, get up. Ashley's boot connected with Mia's ribs, and pain exploded through her chest. She gasped, curling into herself, tasting dirt now along with the blood. Ashley, that's enough. The voice was deep, commanding, threaded with an authority that made even Ashley pause.
Cole.
The Alpha's son stepped into the circle, his presence parting the crowd like a blade through water. 6'3" of lethal grace and controlled power, with dark hair that fell across storm-gray eyes that had seen too much for someone only 25. He was beautiful the way dangerous things were beautiful, all sharp edges and barely contained strength. And he was looking at Mia with something that might have been pity. Somehow, that hurt worse than Ashley's boot. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Cindy's Wolfheart Stories. Please hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from right now. She needs to learn, Ashley protested, but she took a step back. No one defied Cole. Not when his wolf prowled so close to the surface. Not when he carried the future of the pack in his bloodline. She needs to be left alone. Cole's eyes never left Mia.
Go.
All of you. They went. Of course they did. And then it was just Mia on her knees in the dirt, and Cole standing over her like some dark angel of mercy she'd never asked for. You shouldn't be here, he said quietly. The training grounds aren't for humans? Mia's voice came out rougher than she intended. She finally pushed herself up, ignoring the way her ribs screamed in protest, ignoring the way her hands shook. For the powerless? For empty bloods who don't belong. Something flickered in Cole's expression. I was going to say for people who can get hurt. I'm already hurt. She met his eyes, and for just a moment, she let him see it. All the years of isolation, all the training sessions she'd been barred from, all the whispers that followed her like ghosts. I've been hurt since the day Margaret brought me to this pack as a child, and everyone realized I was broken. You're not broken. Then what am I? The question burst out of her before she could stop it. What am I, Cole? Because I'm not human enough to leave, and I'm not wolf enough to stay. I'm nothing. You're something. His hand shot out, gripping her arm with a gentleness that contradicted his strength. I don't know what, but you're something. I can feel it. Mia's breath caught. This close, she could smell him. Pine and winter storms and something wild that called to a part of her she didn't understand. This close, she could see the way his pupils dilated, the way his jaw clenched like he was fighting his own instincts. You don't feel anything, she whispered. You just pity the broken girl who... The howl cut her off. It came from the northern border, sharp and urgent and wrong. A warning call. Then another. Then a dozen more, rising in a cacophony that made every wolf in the pack stop and turn toward the sound. Cole's entire body went rigid.
No.
What is it? Blood Moon Raiders. His voice dropped to a growl, and when he looked at her again, his eyes had shifted, full wolf now, glowing with an inner fire. They're here. Terror shot through Mia's chest. She'd heard the stories. Every pack had. The Blood Moon clan didn't just attack. They annihilated. They were rogues, rejects, and exiles bound together by a cruel alpha who believed only the strongest deserved to survive. They descended on packs during the full moon, slaughtering warriors and claiming territory until nothing remained but blood and ash. The bunker, Cole said, already pulling her toward the pack house. You need to get to the bunker with the other non-combatants. Now.
But.
Now, Mia. She ran. Behind her, she heard Cole shift, that terrible, beautiful sound of bones breaking and reforming, of a man becoming beast. She heard his wolf's roar, heard the answering calls of the Shadowpine warriors as they prepared for battle. And she heard something else. A whisper. Barely there. Riding beneath her own heartbeat like a second pulse. Not yet, it seemed to say. But soon. Mia's hands trembled as she reached the pack house doors. Margaret stood there, ushering people into the underground bunker, children, elderly wolves, the few others like Mia who couldn't fight. Thank the moon, Margaret breathed when she saw her. The older woman's face was tight with fear, her gray-streaked hair falling loose from its usual braid. I thought you might have been.
Ai fine.
Mia grabbed her adopted mother's hand. Come on. We have to get below. But Margaret was looking past her, toward the forest where the sounds of battle had already begun. Snarls and screams, and the wet sound of claws meeting flesh. Your father died in a blood moon raid, Margaret whispered. Did I ever tell you that?
Mia froze.
Margaret never talked about her past. Never mentioned the mate she'd lost or the child she'd borne who died in infancy. Never explained why she'd taken in a strange human girl found wandering in the woods with no memory of how she got there. Margaret, we don't have time. He died protecting someone he thought was weak. Margaret's eyes finally focused on Mia, and they were bright with unshed tears. I won't lose you the same way. Get in the bunker. Lock it from the inside. Don't open it for anyone except me or Alpha Marcus. Cole, Mia corrected automatically. Alpha Thomas and his mate died last year. Cole leads now.
Right. Cole.
Margaret's smile was sad. He looks at you differently, you know. Like he sees something the rest of us don't. The whisper came again, louder this time. Soon. A scream tore through the air, high and agonized, and cut short.
Go.
Margaret shoved Mia toward the bunker entrance. And Mia went, stumbling down the concrete steps into the earth, into the reinforced room that smelled like damp stone and terror. There were maybe 20 others already there, children crying, elderly wolves murmuring prayers to the moon goddess, a few teenagers who hadn't yet had their first shift. All of them looking to Mia like she might have answers. Mia, who had nothing, who was nothing. Empty blood. She pulled the heavy door shut and threw the bolt, sealing them all in darkness broken only by the dim emergency lights. Above them, the sounds of battle raged. Wolves dying, the pack falling, and inside Mia's chest, beneath her ribs where Ashley had kicked her, beneath her thundering heart, something stirred, something that had been sleeping for a very, very long time. The lights flickered. A little girl whimpered. Is it over? Are we safe? Mia opened her mouth to answer, to lie, to offer some comfort she didn't feel. But the words that came out weren't hers. No, she heard herself say in a voice that resonated with ancient power. It's just beginning. And the seal around her soul cracked. Just a little. Just enough. What's happening to Mia? What power is waking inside her? Drop your theories in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because this story is about to get wild. Let me know where you're watching from. The first time Mia remembered feeling different was when she was 7 years old. Margaret had taken her to the Lunar Festival, where young wolves demonstrated their first shifts for the pack. Mia had watched a boy named Ethan, gangly and nervous, transform into a sleek brown wolf while his parents cried with pride. She'd watched the way the moonlight seemed to love him, caressing his fur, welcoming him into something greater than himself. And she'd asked Margaret the question that would define her life. When will the moon love me? Margaret's face had crumpled.
Oh, sweetheart.
I don't know. The memory flickered through Mia's mind now as she pressed her back against the cold bunker wall, trying to understand what was happening to her body. The others huddled in the corner, away from her because even they could sense it, something wrong, something changing, something impossible. Heat radiated from her skin in waves. Not fever heat. Something deeper. Something that made the emergency lights flicker and buzz like insects dying against glass.
Mia.
An elderly wolf named Eleanor spoke carefully, the way one might address a wild animal. Your eyes. What about them? Mia's voice still didn't sound like her own. It carried harmonics, layers, like multiple people speaking at once. They're glowing. Silver.
Impossible.
Only Shifter's eyes glowed, and only when their wolves were close to the surface. Mia had no wolf. She'd been tested by every pack healer, every elder, every. The pain hit like lightning through her spine. Mia gasped, doubling over, her hands clawing at the concrete floor. It felt like something was trying to claw its way out of her from the inside, like her very bones were rebelling against her skin. Not yet. That voice whispered again. The one that had been stirring. Not safe yet. Not strong enough yet. Strong enough for what? Mia gritted out. Above them, an explosion rocked the pack house. Dust rained from the ceiling. A child screamed. And Mia understood. Whatever was inside her, whatever had been sleeping, sealed, hidden, it was trying to protect her. Trying to protect all of them. But it was too soon. The seal wasn't fully broken. If it emerged now, incomplete, it might destroy her. Show me, Mia thought desperately. Show me what you are. Show me what I am. The response came not in words but in images, flooding her mind like a dam breaking. A woman with silver hair and eyes like starlight, running through a forest with a baby clutched to her chest. Blood staining her dress. Pursuers behind her, wolves with red eyes and murder in their hearts. The woman's voice, ragged with desperation. I can't let them find you. I can't let them know you survived. Power gathering in her hands, white-hot and ancient. A spell. A sacrifice. Words in a language older than the pack territories, older than the modern wolf clans. Sleep, my daughter. Sleep until the moon calls you home. Sleep until your pack needs their queen. The baby's eyes, silver fire dimming to human brown. The wolf inside her, vast and terrible and beautiful, being wrapped in chains of light and love and a mother's dying wish. The woman falling. The pursuers finding her. The baby, hidden in the hollow of a tree, silent and sleeping, her wolf locked away so deep that no one would ever sense it. No one would ever know what she was. Mia slammed back into her own body, gasping.
Queen.
The woman had called the baby, had called her daughter. No, she whispered. That's not possible. I can't be. Another explosion. Closer. The bunker door shuddered in its frame. And then she heard it, Cole's voice, roaring above the chaos. Fall back. Everyone fall back to the pack house. He was losing. The pack was losing. They were all going to die. Mia's hands clenched into fists, and where her nails pressed into her palms, she felt something sharp. She looked down and saw claws, just the tips, just barely emerging, silver like moonlight on water. Eleanor, she said quietly, when I open this door, I need you to get everyone out through the emergency tunnel. Get them to the river and follow it south to the Clearwater Pack territory. Don't stop. Don't look back. What are you going to do? Mia stood, and even though pain still lanced through her body, even though every instinct screamed that she wasn't ready, she moved toward the door. Something I should have done a long time ago. She gripped the bolt. I'm going to stop running. Mia, you can't fight them. You're not. I know what I'm not. Mia looked back at Eleanor, and she knew her eyes were glowing again, knew that something ancient and powerful was staring out through her human face. But I'm about to find out what I am. She threw the bolt and yanked open the door. The pack house was burning. Mia stumbled up the bunker steps into hell itself, smoke choking the air, flames licking up the walls, and blood everywhere. Bodies of wolves she'd known her entire life sprawled across the floor in both human and beast form. Some still breathing, some not. Ashley lay near the doorway, her throat torn open, her golden eyes staring at nothing. Mia's stomach lurched, but she forced herself to move forward, to step over the bodies, to follow the sounds of battle toward the main hall. That's where she found them. The remaining Shadow Pine warriors, maybe 15 of them, stood in a defensive circle around the pack's children and elders who hadn't made it to the bunker. Cole stood at the front, his massive black wolf form bleeding from a dozen wounds, his lips pulled back in a snarl. Surrounding them were the Blood Moon Raiders. 30 wolves at least, all of them enormous, all of them moving with the coordinated precision of trained killers. And at their center stood a man who made even Cole look small. Alpha Dane of the Blood Moon clan. 7 feet of scarred muscle and cruelty, with red eyes that marked him as something twisted, something that had broken every natural law to gain power. He was still in human form, which somehow made him more terrifying, like he didn't even need to shift to destroy them. I'll give you one more chance, Cole Blackwood. Dane's voice rumbled like thunder. Surrender your territory, bend your knee, and I'll let the children live. Cole's wolf snarled, which Mia knew meant never.
Dana smiled.
I was hoping you'd say that. He raised his hand, and his wolves tensed, ready to deliver the killing blow. And Mia stepped into the hall. Stop. Her voice wasn't loud, but somehow it carried, cutting through the smoke and chaos like a blade through silk. Every wolf in the room turned to look at her. The powerless girl. Empty blood. The one who didn't belong. Well, Dane drawled, his red eyes raking over her with amusement. What do we have here? A little human come to play hero? Cole's wolf whined, a sound of pure distress. He was trying to tell her to run, to hide, to save herself. But Mia was done running. I'm giving you the chance you gave them, she said, walking forward on legs that shook but held. Leave now, and I'll let you live. Dane threw his head back and laughed. His wolves joined in, the sound echoing off the walls. Oh, this is precious. Tell me, little human, how exactly do you plan to stop me? Going to bore me to death? Cry until I feel bad. I'm going to show you what happens when you threaten what's mine. Something in her tone made his laughter die, made his eyes narrow. You can't even shift, he said slowly. I can smell it on you. You're nothing. You're. The seal broke. Not cracked this time. Not partially.
Shattered.
20 years of binding, 20 years of sealed power, 20 years of hidden destiny, all of it exploding outward in a column of silver light that punched through the roof of the burning pack house and pierced the night sky.
Mia screamed.
But it wasn't pain. It was release. It was freedom. It was coming home to a part of herself she'd never known existed. Her bones didn't break, they sang. Her skin didn't tear. It transformed. Her wolf didn't emerge, it erupted. The light grew blinding, forcing everyone to look away, to shield their eyes against the radiance of something that hadn't walked the earth in generations. When it finally faded, the girl was gone. In her place stood a wolf. But not just any wolf. She was massive, larger than Cole, larger than Dane, larger than any wolf in living memory. Her fur was pure silver, shimmering like starlight made solid, and it moved with its own light, its own power, like she'd been carved from the moon itself. Her eyes blazed with silver fire. And on her chest, visible even through the fur, was a mark that made every wolf in the room drop to their knees.
A crown.
Not a metaphor. An actual crown-shaped pattern in her fur, glowing with ancient power, pulsing with each beat of her enormous heart. The mark of the Wolf Queens. The bloodline everyone thought had been exterminated 50 years ago. Dane stared, his face going pale.
Impossible.
You're all dead. We made sure. He cut himself off, but the damage was done. We made sure. Mia's wolf turned those blazing eyes on him, and when she spoke, her voice resonated in the minds of every wolf present. The old way, the royal way, the way of queens who commanded their subjects without words. You killed my family.
Dana stumbled backward. No.
No, I was just a soldier. I followed orders. I didn't. You will pay. She moved. Later, wolves would speak in hushed whispers about what they witnessed that night. They would say she moved like liquid silver, like lightning given form. They would say that where her paws touched the ground, frost spread in perfect spiraling patterns. They would say that when she struck Dane, the sound was like a thunderclap, and the alpha of the Blood Moon clan, the monster who had terrorized a dozen packs, went down like a puppet with cut strings. But in the moment, there was only chaos. Mia's wolf tore through the raiders like they were paper. Her claws, shimmering with that same silver light, cut through flesh and bone with impossible ease. Her jaws closed around throats and crushed windpipes. Her howl shook the foundations of the pack house and sent half the enemy wolves fleeing in pure terror. Because they knew that sound. Their ancestors had known that sound. It was the howl of a queen, and it meant death to those who opposed her. Within minutes it was over. The raiders who hadn't run lay dead, or dying. Dane himself was pinned beneath Mia's massive paw, whimpering, all his cruelty stripped away to reveal the coward underneath. Please, he begged. Please, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you who gave the orders to kill the royal family. I'll tell you who's been hunting the last bloodlines. Just please. Mia's jaws closed around his throat. Not to kill. Not yet. A warning.
Talk.
By the time the sun rose over what remained of the Shadowpine pack, Mia had shifted back to human form and immediately collapsed. Cole caught her before she hit the ground, wrapping his jacket around her naked body, his hands shaking as he lifted her into his arms. Get the healers, he barked at the nearest wolf, Ethan, who'd been in the defensive circle. Get everyone who can still stand. We need to account for casualties and secure the perimeter. Move. Wolves scattered to obey, but Cole could feel their eyes on Mia. On the girl who wasn't a girl. On the powerless one who'd just saved them all. On the queen they'd spent years mocking. Shame and awe warred in their expressions, and Cole felt it echoed in his own chest. How many times had he watched her get knocked down in training and done nothing? How many times had he heard the whispers about empty blood and let them slide because it was easier than making waves? How many times had he failed her? I'm sorry, he whispered against her hair as he carried her toward what was left of the pack house. I'm so sorry. Mia stirred in his arms, her eyes fluttering open, still that impossible silver, like the wolf was too close to the surface to hide completely. Cole, don't talk. You need to rest. You need.
Dana.
Her hand gripped his shirt with surprising strength. Where is he? Locked in the reinforced cells under the training grounds. What's left of them, anyway? Cole's jaw tightened. Whatever you want done with him, it's your call. My call? You're the ranking royal, Mia. You outrank me. You outrank every alpha in the territories. He met her silver eyes. You're the queen. She flinched like he'd slapped her. I'm not. I don't know how to be. None of us know what we're doing. We're all just making it up as we go. He managed a weak smile. But you saved us. That counts for something. Before Mia could respond, Margaret appeared, pushing through the crowd with a healer in tow. Her face was streaked with tears and soot, and when she saw Mia alive in Cole's arms, She made a sound between a sob and a laugh. Thank the moon. Thank the moon, I thought. She pressed a hand to her mouth. When I saw the light, I thought you'd.
I'm okay.
Mia reached for her.
Margaret, I'm okay.
But Margaret took a step back, and something in her expression made Mia's chest tighten. You knew, Mia said quietly. Didn't you? You knew what I was. The older woman's silence was answer enough. How long? From the beginning. Margaret's voice broke. I found you in the forest after the royal massacre. You were wrapped in your mother's cloak, hidden in a spelled hollow that only opened for wolves with healer blood. There was a letter. Queen Helena wrote that she'd sealed your wolf to save your life. That the Blood Moon clan couldn't be allowed to know any of the royal family survived. And you never told me. It wasn't a question. It wasn't even an accusation. Just a statement of fact that hurt more than any of Ashley's kicks ever had. I wanted to protect you. If anyone knew what you were, they would have either tried to use you or tried to kill you. I thought. Margaret's tears spilled over. I thought if you never shifted, you'd be safe. Human. Ordinary. Alive. But I wasn't alive, Mia whispered. I was just existing. Being nothing. You were never nothing. They both turned. A woman had stepped out of the crowd, tall and regal despite her battle-worn appearance, with black hair streaked with silver and eyes that held ancient wisdom. She wore the marks of the Clearwater Pack, their closest allies. Luna Sophia, Cole said, surprised. We didn't send for her. We saw the light. Sophia's gaze never left Mia. A pillar of silver fire visible for 50 miles. Every pack in the territory saw it. And every pack knows what it means. She dropped to one knee, pressing her fist to her chest in the old salute. The queen has returned. No. Mia struggled in Cole's arms. No, I'm not. Put me down, Cole. Put me down. He hesitated, but at her insistence, he carefully set her on her feet, keeping one arm around her waist to steady her. His jacket hung to her knees, and she looked impossibly small wrapped in it. She looked nothing like a queen, but Sophia remained kneeling. I pledged my loyalty to Queen Helena before she died. I pledge it now to her daughter, the last of the Silver Crown bloodline, Stop. Mia's voice cracked. Please stop. I don't know how to be what you want me to be. I've spent my whole life being powerless, being laughed at. I can't just suddenly become. You already are. Sophia rose, her expression gentle but firm. The moment your wolf emerged, every pack bond in the territory shifted. We all felt it, a new anchor, a new center of power. Whether you accept it or not, Mia, you are the Wolf Queen. The only question is whether you'll rise to meet your destiny or run from it. Mia looked around at the destroyed pack house, the wounded wolves, the bodies being carried out on makeshift stretchers. She saw Nathan cradling a dead packmate, saw children crying for parents who wouldn't answer, saw the smoking ruins of the only home she'd ever known. And she saw Cole watching her with something fierce and complicated in his storm gray eyes. What did Dane tell you? Sophia asked. Before you knocked him unconscious? Mia's hands clenched in Cole's jacket. He said there's someone behind the Blood Moon clan. Someone who's been systematically hunting down the old bloodlines. Not just the royals, but anyone descended from the original pack founders. He said they're trying to eliminate everyone who might challenge their claim to power. Did he say who?
No.
He passed out before. Mia stopped, her eyes going wide.
He's awake.
I can feel him. I can feel all of them. Cole tensed. What do you mean? The pack bonds. Mia pressed a hand to her chest, overwhelmed by the sudden influx of sensations that weren't her own. I can feel everyone in the territory. Their fear, their pain there, she gasped. Someone's trying to free Dane. 3 wolves at the prison cells there.
She didn't get to finish.
Cole was already running, shifting mid-stride into his massive black wolf, calling for his warriors to follow. And Mia, still weak, still reeling, still wearing nothing but an alpha's jacket and a destiny she never asked for. She shifted too.
It was easier this time.
Her wolf rose to the surface like she'd been doing it her whole life, and maybe she had been, in dreams and instincts she'd never understood. The silver light blazed again as fur rippled across her skin, as her senses exploded outward, as she became something greater than human, greater than ordinary. She became the queen her mother had died to protect. And as she raced after Cole toward the prison cells, toward whatever new threat awaited them, Mia felt something she'd never felt before in her entire life.
Power.
Not over others. Not for domination. Power to protect. Power to save. Power to be exactly what her pack needed. Even if they'd spent years telling her she was nothing. Even if she still had no idea what she was doing. Even if the real battle, the one against whoever had ordered her family's massacre, was only just beginning. The prison cells came into view, and Mia saw them. 3 wolves trying to break through the reinforced door, trying to free Dane before he could reveal more secrets. They turned at her approach, their eyes widening in terror. Bow or run, her wolf's voice commanded, ringing with royal authority. Choose quickly. 1 ran, 1 bowed, and 1, a gray wolf with a scarred muzzle, did something Mia didn't expect. He smiled, then exploded. The blast threw Mia backward, her ears ringing, her vision widening out. She felt Cole's wolf slam into her, pushing her away from the flames, shielding her with his own body as debris rained down around them. When the smoke cleared, the prison cells were a crater. And Dane, their only lead, their only chance at finding who was behind all of this, was nothing but ash. Someone had just destroyed their evidence and killed their prisoner rather than let him talk. Someone who was willing to sacrifice their own agents to keep their secrets. Someone who now knew, without a doubt, that the Wolf Queen had returned. Mia shifted back to human form, staring at the destruction, feeling Cole's arms come around her from behind. "This isn't over," she whispered. "No," he agreed, his voice rough against her ear. "It's just beginning." And somewhere in the forest, watching through eyes that glowed with an unnatural light, someone smiled and began planning their next move. The game had changed. The queen had emerged. And now, the real hunt could begin. 3 days after the explosion, Mia stood in what remained of the Alpha's office, staring at a map of the territories that made her head spin. "These red marks are all the attacks in the last 5 years," Cole explained, leaning over the desk beside her. Close enough that she could smell him, still that intoxicating mix of pine and storms that made her wolf perk up with interest. 17 packs hit by the Blood Moon clan. But look at the pattern.
Mia studied the map.
The attacks formed a rough circle, spiraling inward toward the Shadow Pine pack, she whispered. "They were always coming for us. For me. We think so." Sophia had stayed to help them investigate, and now she pointed to several marked locations. These packs all had one thing in common. They sheltered refugees from the royal massacre. Anyone who might have known about survivors. Anyone who might have hidden a royal heir. But how did they even know to look? My mother sealed my wolf. There was no way to detect what I was. Mia's fingers traced the spiral pattern. Unless someone knew the seal would break. Seals like that are tied to specific triggers, Sophia said carefully. Usually life-threatening danger to the person sealed, or to those they love. Your mother would have known that one day, you'd be forced into a situation where your wolf had to emerge to save you. So they created that situation. Cole's hands clenched into fists. They sent the Blood Moon clan to attack packs, hoping to trigger any hidden royals. Using us as bait. The thought made Mia sick. All those packs destroyed, all those wolves killed, just to flush her out of hiding. "It's worse than that," said a new voice. Mia turned to see Liam enter the office, one of Cole's lead warriors, a russet-colored wolf with sharp eyes and sharper instincts. He carried a leather journal that looked ancient, its pages yellowed with age. "Found this in the rubble of the prison cells," Liam said, placing it on the desk. It was in a fireproof box buried 6 feet down. Someone really didn't want it destroyed. Cole opened the journal, and Mia watched his face go pale. "What is it?" He turned it so she could see. The pages were filled with names, dates, and locations. A meticulous record of every attack, every kill, It's a hit list, Mia breathed. "These are all the royal bloodlines. All the old families." Her finger stopped on a name that made her blood run cold. Margaret Silvercrest. Former healer to the royal family. Status: neutralized.
No. No.
Mia was running before Cole could stop her, shifting mid-stride, her silver wolf tearing through the pack house toward Margaret's cottage on the eastern border. She could hear Cole behind her, could feel his concern through the pack bond that had formed between them, something deeper than normal pack bonds, something that made her wolf restless and wanting. But she couldn't think about that now. Margaret's cottage came into view, and Mia's heart sank. The door hung open. The windows were shattered. And inside. No. Mia shifted back to human form, stumbling through the doorway. Margaret. The cottage had been torn apart. Furniture overturned, books scattered, the herbs Margaret used for healing crushed into the floorboards. And in the center of the main room, written in what looked like ash, "The Queen cannot save everyone." Cole's arms wrapped around Mia from behind as a sob tore from her throat. "She's not here," he said quietly. "There's no blood. No body. Whoever did this took her alive."
Why?
Mia turned in his arms, and she didn't care that she was naked, didn't care that proper protocol said a queen shouldn't show weakness. If they wanted to kill her, why not just? Because they want you to come after her. Sophia appeared in the doorway, her expression grim. "It's a trap, Mia. They're using her to lure you out. I don't care." Mia pulled away from Cole, her eyes blazing silver. "She's my mother. The only family I have left. I won't abandon her." And that's exactly what they're counting on. Sophia stepped closer. "You're too important. The moment you revealed yourself, you became the symbol every wolf in these territories needs. A true queen, a legitimate heir to challenge whoever's trying to seize power. If you die walking into their trap, then I die." Mia's wolf surged forward, and the windows rattled with the force of her power. "I spent 20 years being nothing, being powerless, watching people suffer, while I did nothing to help. I won't do that anymore. I won't let Margaret die because she had the misfortune of caring about me."
Cole caught her hand.
"Then we do this smart. We find out where they took her. We plan. We bring warriors, and there's no time." Liam held up a piece of paper that had been pinned to the back of the cottage door. They left instructions. "Mia comes alone to the old grove at moonrise tonight. Any other wolves within a mile, and Margaret dies." The old grove. The ancient meeting place where pack challenges had been settled for generations. Neutral ground, heavy with old magic and older laws. And a perfect place for an ambush. "I'm going," Mia said flatly.
Mia. I'm
going. She met Cole's eyes, and something passed between them. Something electric and inevitable and far too complicated to examine right now. "You can't stop me, Cole. You might be the alpha, but I outrank you, remember?" His jaw clenched. "I hate it when you use that card. I hate that I have to." She softened slightly. "But I need you to trust me. I'm not the powerless girl anymore. I have a wolf now. I have." She paused, feeling that vast well of power inside her, still barely tapped. "I have more than I know what to do with. Let me use it to save someone I love." The word hung in the air between them.
Love.
Such a small word for such a massive feeling. Cole's hand came up to cup her face, his thumb brushing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. "If you go in there and don't come out, I'm burning down their entire operation. I don't care who they are." I don't care what it costs. Understood. Understood. And Mia? His forehead touched hers, and this close, she could see the wolf in his eyes, the predator that wanted to claim her, protect her, keep her safe. When this is over, we're having a conversation. About what? About why my wolf has decided you're his mate, and what we're going to do about it. Mia's breath caught. Mate bonds were sacred, rare, and absolutely impossible to ignore once acknowledged. She'd felt the pull toward Cole since her wolf emerged, had thought it was just gratitude or attraction or… But no. Her wolf knew. Had probably always known. The powerless girl and the alpha son. The universe had a twisted sense of humor. One crisis at a time, she managed. One crisis at a time, he agreed. But he kissed her anyway, quick and fierce and full of promises neither of them might live to keep. Then he let her go. The old grove looked exactly like a place where people went to die. Ancient trees twisted toward the sky, their branches forming a canopy so thick that even the full moon barely penetrated. Moss-covered stones marked the boundary of a sacred space, covered in runes that predated the modern pacts. And in the center, tied to the largest oak tree, Margaret, the older woman, hung limply in silver chains, the kind forged specifically to suppress shifter healing. Her face was bruised, her clothes torn, but she was alive.
Mia, no.
Margaret's voice was hoarse. It's a trap, you have to… Oh, let her finish, said a smooth, feminine voice. I do love a good reunion before the killing starts. A woman stepped from the shadows. She was beautiful in the way poisonous things were beautiful, all sharp edges and dangerous curves, with platinum blonde hair and eyes that shifted between blue and silver. She wore black leather that marked her as a warrior, and power radiated from her in waves. Power that felt wrong, corrupted, like she'd taken something pure and twisted it into a weapon. Mia Silvercrest, the woman purred. Or should I say, Princess Mia of the Silver Crown bloodline? I've been looking forward to meeting you for a very long time. Who are you? Where are my manners? The woman smiled, revealing teeth just a bit too sharp.
I'm Zara Nightshadow.
Though you might know my family by another name, the Bloodthorn clan. The ones your mother's family destroyed and exiled 2 generations ago for practicing blood magic.
Mia esse Wolf Snard.
Blood magic was forbidden among shifters, dark rituals that involved sacrificing wolves to steal their power, their life force, their very essence. The Bloodthorn clan was exiled for murdering children, Mia said coldly, for using their blood in rituals to extend their own lives. My great-grandmother gave them a choice: face execution or leave the territories forever. And we chose exile. We chose to survive. Zara's eyes flashed. We spent decades in the wastelands, building our power, planning our revenge. And when your mother took the throne, we finally had our chance. We created the Blood Moon clan from rogues and outcasts. We fed them just enough of our stolen power to make them formidable. And we sent them to destroy every pack that might stand against us. You killed my family. Mia's voice dropped to a whisper. You murdered my mother, my father, my siblings. Everyone. Not everyone. Zara's smile widened. We missed you. That spelled hollow was quite clever. But we knew you'd surface eventually. Seals like that always break. So we waited. We watched. We killed anyone who might help you, isolated you, made sure that when you finally emerged, I'd be alone, Mia finished. Vulnerable. Exactly. Zara began to circle her like a predator. But here's the thing about prophecies, little queen. Your mother didn't just seal your wolf. She sealed a prophecy into your bloodline. One that says the last Silver Crown heir will either unite the packs and usher in a new golden age, or fall to darkness and destroy everything, Mia whispered, the knowledge suddenly there in her mind, pulled from memories that weren't quite hers. Her mother's memories, locked in her blood. She was trying to protect everyone from me. From what you could become, yes. And I'm here to make sure you become exactly that. Zara raised her hand, and Mia felt power gathering. Dark, corrupted, wrong. You see, if I kill you while you're still innocent, while you're still good, your power disperses. It's wasted. But if I corrupt you first, if I make you fall... Margaret screamed. Mia spun to see dark energy wrapping around the older woman, squeezing, crushing. The silver chains glowed with heat, burning into her skin. Stop. Mia lunged forward, but Zara's power slammed into her like a wall, driving her to her knees. Here's your choice, little queen, Zara said softly. Use your power to save her. But the only way to break my spell is with blood magic. The very thing your family despised. Become what they feared, or watch her die.
No.
There has to be another way. There isn't. I made sure of it. Zara's smile was cruel. This spell requires a life for a life. Her death, or someone else's. You have to choose who dies, Mia. You have to take that innocent blood on your hands. And once you do, once you cross that line, I'll be corrupted, Mia finished. Dark enough for you to kill and steal my power. Now you're getting it. Margaret's screams intensified. Her skin was burning, blistering, and Mia could feel her life force draining away through the pack bond. Mia, don't, Margaret gasped. Don't let her make you into something you're not. Let me go. I've lived a good life. Shut up. Mia stood, her eyes blazing silver, her wolf rising to the surface. You don't get to sacrifice yourself. Not for me. Not for anyone. Then what will you do? Zara asked, genuinely curious. Will you let her die to stay pure? Will you prove you're just as weak as everyone always said? Mia looked at Margaret. At the woman who'd raised her, protected her, loved her even when it cost her everything. She looked at Zara. At the twisted, corrupted thing that had murdered her family and destroyed countless lives. And she made a choice. But not the one Zara expected. You're right, Mia said quietly. This spell requires a life for a life. Blood magic always does. But you made one mistake. Oh, and what's that? Mia smiled, and it was all teeth and silver fire. You assumed I'd have to kill someone innocent. She moved. Faster than Zara could react, faster than should have been possible. Mia's wolf surged forward, and her claws, glowing with that pure silver light, plunged into her own chest, into her own heart.
No.
Zara screamed, but it was too late. Mia's blood, royal blood, ancient blood, spilled onto the sacred ground of the old grove, and the dark spell shattered like glass, releasing Margaret, dispersing into nothing. But Mia's blood didn't just break the spell. It awakened something. The old grove began to glow. The runes on the ancient stones blazed with light. And from the earth itself, from the bones of queens long dead, from the very foundation of wolf magic, power rose.
Pure.
Unstoppable. Furious. You can't, Zara whispered, backing away. That's impossible. The old magic doesn't answer anymore. It's been dormant for... It answers to royalty. Mia's voice echoed with the voices of all the queens who came before her. Her wound was already healing, her own wolf knitting flesh and bone with supernatural speed. It answers to blood. It answers to sacrifice. And I just gave it all three. The ground beneath Zara's feet erupted with silver vines, manifestations of pure pack magic, the kind that hadn't been seen in generations. They wrapped around her limbs, burning through her corrupted power, dragging her down. This isn't over, Zara snarled. I'm not the only one. There are others. The Bloodthorn clan is everywhere, and they'll... Tell me where, Mia commanded, and the royal compulsion in her voice was absolute. Tell me everything. And Zara, bound by magic older than her dark arts, had no choice but to obey. The safe house was 3 hours north, hidden deep in neutral territory where pack laws didn't reach. Mia stood outside it now, flanked by Cole and 24 Shadow Pine warriors, watching smoke rise from the chimney and knowing that inside were answers she wasn't sure she wanted to hear. Zara had talked. Oh, how she'd talked. She'd revealed the names of 7 Bloodthorn operatives embedded in major packs. She described their plan to systematically eliminate the old bloodlines and install their own corrupted leaders. She'd explained how they'd been stealing power from murdered wolves for decades, growing stronger, preparing for the day when they'd have enough strength to challenge the council itself. And she told them about him, the leader of the Bloodthorn clan, the one who'd ordered the royal massacre, the one who'd been pulling the strings all along. His name was Jake Bloodthorn, and he was waiting inside the safe house to meet her. This is insane, Cole muttered for the 100th time. We should burn it down with him inside. End this now. He's under a peace banner, Sophia reminded him. She'd brought warriors from the Clearwater Pack as backup, surrounding the safe house in a loose perimeter. If we violate that, we lose any moral high ground. The other packs won't support us. I don't care about moral high ground. I care about Mia walking into a room with the man who murdered her family. Mia appreciated his protectiveness. She really did. But her wolf was restless, pacing, demanding answers that only Jake could provide. He wants to talk, she said quietly. He sent word through Zara that he has information about my mother, about why she really sealed my wolf, about, her voice caught, about what I am. Cole's hand found hers. You're the queen. That's all you need to be. But what if it's not? Mia looked up at him, and in the moonlight, she could see the mate bond shimmering between them like threads of silver and shadow. Her wolf wanted to claim him, to let him claim her in return, to cement the bond that would tie them together for life. But she couldn't. Not yet. Not until she knew the full truth of what she was. What if my mother sealed my wolf because I'm dangerous? She whispered. What if the prophecy is right, and I'm meant to destroy everything? What if? Cole kissed her. Hard and deep and desperate, one hand tangling in her hair, the other gripping her waist like he could anchor her to the earth through sheer will alone. When he pulled back, his eyes were molten silver, his wolf right at the surface. I don't care what you're meant to be, he growled. I don't care about prophecies or destiny or whatever cosmic bullshit is supposedly written in the stars. I care about you. The woman who saved her pack. The woman who stabbed herself in the heart rather than let innocent blood be spilled. The woman who's scared out of her mind right now, but is still going to walk into that house because she's too damn brave for her own good. Cole. You're my mate, Mia. My wolf chose you, and he doesn't give a damn if you're supposed to save the world or end it. He just wants you safe, happy, alive. Cole's forehead touched hers. So go get your answers. But know that whatever you learn in there, whatever Jake tells you, it doesn't change what you are to me. Mia's heart cracked open. I don't deserve you. Probably not. I'm a hell of a catch. His smile was brief, fierce. But you're stuck with me anyway. Mate bonds are forever. We haven't completed the bond. Then survive this, and we will. It was a promise, a threat,
A vow.
Mia kissed him once more, softer this time, sweeter, tasting like hope and terror and love that neither of them had said out loud yet. Then she pulled away and walked toward the safe house. Toward answers. Toward the man who destroyed her life before she even knew she had won. The door opened before she could knock. And Jake Bloodthorn smiled at her with a face that looked exactly like her own. Hello, sister, he said. Mia's world tilted.
No.
No, that was impossible. Her mother had 3 children, all of them killed in the massacre. There were no other heirs, no other survivors.
No.
But looking at Jake was like looking into a twisted mirror. Same silver eyes, same sharp cheekbones, same silver blonde hair, though his was cut short and threaded with black streaks that looked unnatural. Same royal blood. I can see the wheels turning, Jake said, stepping aside to let her enter. The safe house was sparse, a table, 2 chairs, a fireplace. No weapons visible, but Mia could feel power radiating from him in sickening waves. You're wondering how. Your mother had 3 children, and they all died. Except I wasn't your mother's child, Mia. I was your father's. From his first mate. The one who died giving birth to me. The one everyone conveniently forgot about when he married Helena and produced the perfect royal heirs. Mia's mind raced. She'd heard whispers about her father's first mate, a woman who died in childbirth, the baby supposedly dying with her. They lied, Jake continued, reading her expression. The baby lived. I lived. But I was born wrong. Twisted. My wolf was, he paused, something like pain flickering across his face. Corrupted from birth. A side effect of my mother dabbling in blood magic while pregnant, trying to ensure she'd give the king a powerful heir. So they abandoned you, Mia whispered. Exiled me to the Bloodthorn clan. My mother's family. The ones Helena later destroyed. Jake's smile was bitter. Ironic, isn't it? Your mother created her own enemy. If she'd just let me stay, let me be part of the royal family despite my corruption. You would have poisoned them from the inside, Mia said flatly. You would have corrupted the entire bloodline. Maybe.
Probably.
Who knows? He shrugged. The point is, I am your brother. Your older brother. Which means you have a claim to the throne. Not just a claim. The primary claim. I'm the firstborn son of King Alaric. By law, by tradition, by every rule our kind holds sacred. I should be king.
Mia laughed.
She couldn't help it. The sound was harsh and broken. You murdered our family. You destroyed Pax. You've spent decades killing innocents. And you think anyone will accept you as king? They'll accept whoever has the most power. Jake's eyes flashed. And that's why you're here, sister. I want to make you an offer. I'm not interested in. Join me. The words fell like stones into still water. Mia stared at him.
What?
Join me, Jake repeated. You have the pure royal power, the silver crown bloodline, untainted by corruption. I have the strength, the army, the network. Together, we'd be unstoppable. We could unite the Pax not through love or loyalty, but through fear, through absolute power. You're insane.
I'm practical.
He leaned forward. The Pax are weak, Mia. Divided. Squabbling over territory and tradition while the human world encroaches more every year. We're dying out and no one wants to admit it. But you and I,
we could change that.
We could make our kind strong again. Feared again. We could. Become exactly what the old queens fought to prevent, Mia finished. Tyrants. Monsters. Survivors, Jake corrected. The strong survive, Mia. Always have. Always will. And you are strong. I felt your power when you awakened the old grove magic. That kind of strength shouldn't be wasted on trying to save sheep who'd sooner see you dead than different. He wasn't wrong about that last part. Mia had spent her whole life being treated like trash by the pack she'd just saved. Part of her, a dark, wounded part, wanted to see them bow. Wanted to make them pay for every humiliation, every insult, every moment they'd made her feel like nothing. Her wolf stirred, interested. And that terrified her more than anything. I can see it, Jake said softly. The darkness in you. The anger. The hurt. You try to hide it, try to be the good queen everyone expects, but it's there.
Growing.
Waiting. Your mother saw it too. That's why she sealed your wolf. Not to protect you. To protect everyone else from what you might become. You're lying. Am I? He pulled out a letter. Yellowed with age, written in elegant script that Mia recognized from the journal Margaret had shown her once. Her mother's handwriting. She wrote this the day before she died, Jake said, sliding it across the table. Read it. Mia's hands shook as she unfolded the letter. My dearest Mia, if you're reading this, then the seal has broken, and you've come into your power. I'm sorry, my darling.
So deeply sorry.
I wanted to give you a normal life, a safe life, but I fear I've only delayed the inevitable. You need to know the truth about our bloodline, about what we are. The Silver Crown Queens aren't just powerful, sweetheart. We're dangerous. Our wolves are bonded to the oldest magic, the wild magic that existed before packs, before civilization, before laws. It's raw, primal, and in the wrong hands, or with the wrong heart, it can destroy everything it touches. I've seen it before. My grandmother went mad with power, tried to enslave the other packs. My great-great-aunt started a war that killed thousands.
And
I've felt the pull toward darkness. The temptation to use our power, not to serve but to dominate. I sealed your wolf because I was afraid you'd inherit that darkness. That you'd be the queen who finally fulfills the prophecy and brings about our kind's destruction. But I also sealed your wolf because I had hope. Hope that you'd be different, stronger, better than all of us. The choice is yours, my daughter. It always has been. Choose wisely. Choose love. All my heart, Helena. The letter slipped from Mia's fingers. She thought I was a monster, she whispered. She thought you could become a monster, Jake corrected. Just like I did.
just like all of us can.
The question is, will you prove her right? Outside, a wolf howled. Then another. Then dozens, all at once. A cacophony of alarm that meant one thing.
Attack.
Jake smiled. And that's my cue. You see, Mia, I knew you wouldn't join me willingly. You're too much like Helena, too idealistic, too soft. So I made alternative arrangements. Mia surged to her feet, her wolf rising. What did you do? The warriors you brought? They're currently being slaughtered by the rest of my Blood Moon clan, including your precious mate. Cole, was it? Such a noble wolf. He'll die trying to protect you, I imagine. Very Jake tick.
Cole.
The mate bond flared with pain, fear, fury, his emotions slamming into her like physical blows. I'm going to kill you, Mia said, and her voice was barely human. Maybe. Eventually. But first, you're going to watch everyone you care about die. Margaret, Cole, Sophia, all those packmates who treated you like dirt but who you're stupidly trying to protect. I'm going to kill them all. And then, when you're broken and alone and drowning in grief, I'm going to show you what darkness really looks like.
Ese wolf exploded outward.
But Jake was ready. His own wolf emerged, massive and wrong, its fur black as tar, its eyes glowing red with corrupted power. Where Mia's transformation was light and beauty, his was shadow and horror. They collided in a clash of silver and darkness that shattered every window in the safe house. And outside, Cole was dying. Cole had fought in plenty of battles. He knew the rhythm of combat, the flow of strategy, the moment when a fight shifted from winnable to desperate. This fight had shifted 5 minutes ago. The Blood Moon wolves poured from the forest like a black tide, 50 at least, all of them enhanced with stolen power. All of them coordinated in a way that spoke of extensive training. They'd surrounded the safe house, cut off escape routes, and were systematically slaughtering the Shadowpine and Clearwater warriors. Nathan was down, his throat torn open. Liam was fighting 3 wolves at once and losing. Sophia had shifted into her massive brown wolf and was defending the younger warriors, but even she was being driven back. And Cole fought like a demon, his black wolf tearing through enemies with single-minded focus. Because every instinct, every fiber of his being, was screaming at him to get to Mia, to protect his mate, to fulfill the most basic drive of his wolf. But there were too many, and they kept coming. I'm sorry, he thought, hoping somehow the mate bond would carry it to her. I'm sorry I couldn't. The safe house exploded. Silver light erupted from within like a star-going supernova, and 2 massive wolves, one silver, one black and red, came crashing through the walls, locked in vicious combat.
Mia.
But she was different.
Wrong.
Her silver fur crackled with dark energy, her eyes flickering between pure silver and something darker. She was fighting Jake, but she was also fighting herself, fighting the corruption trying to take root in her soul. No, Cole thought desperately. Don't let him win. Don't let him make you into something you're not. Jake's corrupted wolf slammed Mia into the ground, jaws closing around her throat. She thrashed, her own jaws snapping, but he was stronger, older, more experienced in using dark power. You feel it, don't you? Jake's voice echoed in the minds of every wolf present, a twisted parody of royal compulsion. The rage, the hate, the desire to make them all pay. Use it, sister. Let it consume you. Become what you were always meant to be.
Mia se strugles weakened.
The darkness in her eyes spread, and Cole realized what was happening. Jake wasn't trying to kill her. He was trying to corrupt her, to break her spirit, to make her fall, so that her power would be tainted enough for him to steal. He was going to turn the queen into a weapon and then claim that weapon for himself. Not happening. Cole threw back his head and howled. Not a challenge, not a warning, but a call. The oldest call wolves had. A call to the mate bond. Fight, he demanded, pouring every ounce of his will, his love, his faith in her through the connection that tied their souls together. Fight, Mia. I know you're scared. I know you're hurt. I know the darkness is tempting because it promises power without pain. But that's a lie. You don't need darkness. You never did. You just need to remember who you are. I'm a monster. Her voice came back, broken. My mother said. Your mother was afraid. Fear makes people stupid. Makes them seal away the things they should celebrate. Makes them hide instead of fight. Cole abandoned his own battle, racing toward her even as enemy wolves tore at his flanks. But you're not afraid anymore, are you? You're angry.
Good.
Be angry. Be furious. But don't let that fury make you cruel. Let it make you strong. Jake's jaws tightened, and Mia's blood, silver and shining, spilled onto the ground. You're nothing without me, Jake snarled. A scared little girl playing dress-up as queen. You'll fall. You'll break. You'll. Mia's eyes snapped fully open, and they were pure, blazing, incandescent silver. I am the daughter of Helena Silvercrown. Her voice rang out like a bell, like thunder, like the voice of every queen who'd ever lived speaking in perfect unison. I am the heir to the oldest magic. I am the wolf they laughed at, the girl they dismissed, the powerless one who was never powerless.
At all.
Power detonated from her in a shockwave that threw Jake off her, that sent every corrupted wolf tumbling backward, that made the very earth crack and splinter. Mia rose, not just her wolf, but something more. Something transcendent. Her fur blazed with silver fire, and above her head, visible even to human eyes, a crown of pure light materialized. Not a metaphor.
The crown.
The physical manifestation of royal power that only appeared when a queen fully accepted her destiny. You want to see what I am? Mia's voice shook the sky. You want to see what our mother feared? Jake stumbled back, and for the first time, Cole saw fear in the corrupted wolf's eyes. I am the Wolf Queen. I am the protector of packs. I am the light that drives back darkness. And you. She moved. Faster than thought. Faster than possible. She was on Jake in a heartbeat, her jaws closing around his throat, her claws pinning him to the earth. Are nothing. She could kill him. Cole could see it. One twist of her jaws and Jake Bloodthorn would be dead. The threat ended, the corruption eliminated. But she didn't. Instead, she did something far more devastating. She forgave him. You were a child, she said softly, and the silver fire around her shifted, became warmer, gentler, like moonlight instead of lightning. A baby born wrong through no fault of your own. abandoned by a father too afraid to deal with his own mistakes. Raised by monsters who taught you that power through cruelty was the only way to survive.
Don't, Jake growled. Don't you dare pity me.
I don't pity you. I understand you. And I'm giving you a choice. Mia released him, stepping back. You can keep fighting. Keep corrupting. Keep trying to destroy everything out of spite and rage. And I'll stop you. I'll hunt you down, and I'll end you. Not because I hate you, but because it's my duty. Or you can let me help you. The corruption in your wolf, it's not permanent. Old magic can heal what blood magic has twisted. It'll take time. It'll hurt. But you could be whole again. You could be the brother I never got to know. The heir who should have had a place in our family. The battlefield had gone silent. Every wolf, friend and enemy alike, was staring at this impossible scene. A queen offering redemption to the monster who destroyed her life. Jake's corrupted wolf shimmered, flickering back to human form. He stood before her, naked and scarred and shaking with emotions too complex to name. Why, he whispered. Why would you help me? Because someone should have helped you a long time ago. Mia shifted back as well, and Cole immediately moved to her side, offering his warmth, his presence, his unwavering support. Because breaking the cycle of cruelty has to start somewhere. Because I refuse to let fear and hate define what I become. She held out her hand. Because you're my brother. And family saves family. Jake stared at her hand like it was a viper. Behind him, the blood moon wolves waited for orders. To attack, to retreat, to continue the slaughter. The moment stretched, taut as a wire about to snap. And then Jake took her hand. The corruption in his wolf screamed, fighting against the pure royal magic now flowing through their joined palms. Jake collapsed, convulsing, black ichor pouring from his eyes and mouth as decades of twisted power was forcibly purged from his system. Hold him, Mia ordered, and Sophia moved forward with silver chains, the kind that would suppress his wolf while he healed. Cole pressed against Mia's side. That was either the bravest or stupidest thing you've ever done. Why not both? She was shaking, adrenaline crashing, the weight of what she'd just done settling onto her shoulders. She'd shown mercy to the man who'd murdered her family. And somehow it felt right. The blood moon wolves were shifting back to human form, confusion, and something like hope flickering across their faces. Without Jake's corrupted influence, without his dark commands, they were just wolves. Lost and looking for a pack. The Bloodthorn operatives embedded in the other packs, Mia called out. Where are they? A scarred man stepped forward, one of Jake's lieutenants. There are 6 left. But they'll run when they hear what happened here. They'll disappear. Then we find them before they do. Mia looked at Cole, at Sophia, at the assembled warriors who'd survived. We end this. All of it. No more hidden enemies. No more shadows. Agreed, Sophia said. The Clearwater Pack will help hunt them down. As will Shadowpine, Cole added. One by one, the other wolves, even some of the former Blood Moon members, pledged their support. And Mia felt it, the pack bonds shifting, expanding, growing stronger. She wasn't just the Shadowpine Queen anymore. She was becoming something greater. A true wolf queen, leader of all packs. Cole, she said quietly, as the others began organizing search parties and healing the wounded. That conversation you wanted to have? His eyes met hers, storm gray and infinite. Yeah, I'm ready now. The smile that spread across his face was devastating. About damn time. He kissed her there, on a battlefield surrounded by blood and silver fire and the corpses of their enemies, and it tasted like victory and promise and a future neither of them had dared to imagine. When they broke apart, Mia's wolf was purring, content in a way she'd never been before. After we hunt down the remaining operatives, Cole murmured against her lips. After we ensure the packs are safe. After all of this is done, you're going to properly court me?
Mia teased.
I'm going to complete the mate bond and make you mine in every way that matters. His hand cupped her face. If you'll have me, a queen and an alpha, Mia mused. That's going to be complicated. Everything about us is complicated. True.
She grinned.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Above them, the moon shone bright and full, blessing them with her light. And for the first time in her life, Mia felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. The hunt for the remaining Bloodthorn operatives took 3 weeks. 3 weeks of coordinating with packs across the territories. 3 weeks of tracking down wolves who'd spent years hiding in plain sight. 3 weeks of Mia learning to wield her power not as a weapon, but as a shield, protecting those who needed it, even as she brought justice to those who'd abused their positions. And 3 weeks of dancing around the mate bond with Cole, both of them too busy, too exhausted, too caught up in the mission to complete what they'd started. But tonight it would end. The last operative, a woman named Tara, who'd infiltrated the Northern Summit Pack as a healer, had barricaded herself in an abandoned silver mine, taking 5 hostages, including the Pack's Luna. Standard siege tactics won't work, Liam explained, pointing to the crude map they'd drawn of the mine's layout. The entrance is too narrow. She can pick us off one by one as we enter. And the silver in the walls will weaken our wolves, Sophia added. Even Mia's power might be suppressed in there. They were gathered in a war tent just outside the mine. Mia, Cole, Sophia, Liam, and a dozen elite warriors from various packs. Margaret was there too, still healing from her ordeal, but insisting on helping. And Jake, bound in silver chains, his corruption slowly being purged by daily infusions of Mia's royal magic. He'd been surprisingly helpful during the hunt, using his knowledge of Bloodthorn tactics to anticipate their moves. Mia still didn't trust him completely. Trust had to be earned, but she believed in second chances. What if we don't fight her? Mia said quietly. Cole looked at her. What do you mean? Tara became a healer. That was her cover, yes, but it's also what she spent years doing. Healing wolves. Saving lives. Mia traced the mine entrance on the map. What if part of her actually cares? What if she's not just a monster playing pretend? You want to talk to her, Sophia said. Like you did with Jake. I want to give her the choice. The same one I gave him. And if she refuses? Liam asked. If she kills the hostages out of spite. Mia's eyes hardened. Then I stop her. Permanently. Cole's hand found hers under the table, squeezing gently. Through the mate bond, she felt his concern, his pride, his absolute faith in her judgment. I'm going in alone, Mia announced. Absolutely not, Cole growled. It has to be me. She won't trust anyone else. And Mia met his eyes. I need to do this. I need to prove that mercy isn't weakness. That there's another way. Mercy without wisdom is just foolishness waiting to get you killed, Jake spoke up from his corner. His voice was rough, damaged from the purging process, but clearer than before. Tara was one of my most loyal. She won't surrender easily. Then I'll make it easy for her. Mia stood, and the silver crown materialized above her head. She'd learned to summon it at will now, though it still took concentration. I'm the queen. It's time I started acting like one. The silver mine was dark, cold, and reeked of old blood and older magic. Mia walked in alone, her wolf senses straining against the dampening effect of the silver-rich stone. She could hear breathing deeper in, ragged, frightened. The hostages. Ivy, she called out. I'm here to talk. The queen herself. Ivy's voice echoed from somewhere ahead. Should I be honored or terrified? Neither. Just willing to listen. Mia moved forward carefully, following a tunnel that sloped downward. You don't have to die today. Don't I? A bitter laugh. I've spent 15 years working for the Bloodthorn clan. I've helped murder wolves.
I've poisoned pack bonds.
I've done things that would make your stomach turn, princess. There's no redemption for someone like me. There was for Jake. Silence. Then, he's really letting you heal him? I heard the rumors, but I didn't believe. He made a choice. The same one I'm offering you. Mia rounded a corner and found herself in a wider chamber, lit by phosphorescent fungi growing on the walls. The hostages were huddled against the far wall, 5 wolves in various states of injury, their eyes wide with terror. And standing before them, a knife to the Luna's throat, was Ivy. She was younger than Mia expected, maybe 30, with auburn hair and green eyes that held too much pain for someone so young. Her hands shook as she held the blade. "Don't come closer," Tara warned. Mia stopped, raising her hands peacefully. "I won't. I just want to talk." "Talk won't change what I've done."
No.
"But it might change what you do next." Mia took a slow breath. "You chose to be a healer. Why?" The question seemed to catch Tara off guard.
What?
"The Bloodthorn clan wanted you to infiltrate the pack. You could have been anything, a warrior, an advisor, a scout. But you chose to be a healer. Why?" Ivy's knife hand trembled harder. It was good cover. People trust healers. "That's not why." Mia took a small step forward. "I can feel your wolf, Ivy. Even through the silver dampening, I can feel her. And she's not corrupted like Jake S. was. She's conflicted.
Torn.
Because part of you actually wanted to heal. Part of you found purpose in saving lives instead of taking them. You don't know what you're talking about, don't I? I spent 20 years believing I was powerless, believing I was nothing. And then I discovered I had more power than I knew what to do with. It's terrifying, isn't it? Realizing you're not who you thought you were. That you might actually be capable of good when all you've ever known is darkness." A tear tracked down Ivy's cheek. "I've killed people.
Children.
I poisoned a whole pack's water supply 2 years ago because Jake ordered it. 37 wolves died. I can still hear them screaming. And you'll carry that weight forever," Mia said gently. "I'm not offering you forgiveness. What you've done is unforgivable. But I am offering you a chance to do better. To spend the rest of your life atoning, helping instead of hurting, healing instead of destroying."
How?
Ivy's voice broke. "How do I live with what I've done? One day at a time. One choice at a time. One act of kindness to balance the scales, even knowing they'll never be truly balanced." Mia extended her hand. "Let the hostages go. Come with me. Face justice. And then let me help you find a way forward. They'll execute me. The council? The council answers to me," Mia said, and there was steel in her voice now. "I am the Wolf Queen. My word is law. And I say you get a chance at redemption. But only if you choose it. Only if you put down the knife and walk away from the Bloodthorn clan forever." The chamber held its breath. Tara looked at the terrified Luna, at the hostages, at Mia standing there like some silver angel offering salvation to the damned. The knife clattered to the stone floor. Tara collapsed, sobbing, and Mia moved forward to catch her as she fell.
"I'm sorry, Taragasit."
"I'm so sorry. I never wanted. I know." Mia held her, this broken woman who'd done terrible things, and felt the weight of her new role settle more firmly on her shoulders. "I know." The hostages fled past them, racing for the exit and freedom, and Mia stayed, holding Tara while she cried, proving that mercy could be strength. They emerged from the mine to find the war camp in chaos. Not battle chaos, celebration chaos. Word had spread that the last operative had surrendered, that the Bloodthorn clan was finally, truly finished, that the Wolf Queen had brought down an organization that had terrorized the packs for decades, not through violence, but through justice tempered with mercy. Wolves from a dozen different packs were celebrating together, barriers of territory and tradition falling away in the face of shared relief. And standing at the center of it all, waiting for her with eyes that promised forever, was Cole. Mia handed Tara over to Sophia, who would ensure she faced proper justice, and walked toward her mate. Is it really over? She asked when she reached him. The bloodthorn threat? Yes. Cole pulled her close, and the mate bond hummed with contentment. But I think your work as queen is just beginning. Lucky me. But she was smiling. Lucky us. He tilted her chin up. Because I meant what I said. Once this was done, once you were safe, we complete the bond, Mia finished. I remember. Do you want to? It's permanent, Mia. Forever. You'd be tied to me, to the Shadowpine Pack, even as you rule all the packs. It might complicate things. Everything about us is complicated, she echoed his earlier words. But Cole, when I was in that mine, offering Tara a second chance, you know what I thought about? What?
You.
How you've always seen me as more than I saw myself. How you've supported every crazy decision I've made since my wolf emerged. How you literally fought through an army because the mate bond told you I needed you. She cupped his face. You're my anchor. My home. And yes, I want the bond. I want forever. I want. He kissed her, and the celebration around them erupted into cheers. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Cole's eyes had shifted to wolf silver. Tonight, he growled. Under the full moon. I'm going to make you mine in every way that matters. Promise. Promise. The bonding ceremony took place at midnight in the old grove, the same place where Mia had awakened the ancient magic, where she'd first fully embraced her wolf. It was fitting. The grove had been cleansed and consecrated, the dark energy from Zara's spell replaced with silver light and hope. Wolves from every pack in the territory gathered to witness, not just a mate bonding, but the symbolic union of queen and alpha, of old power and new leadership. Margaret stood with Mia as she prepared, helping her into a dress woven from spider silk and moonlight, a gift from the eldest pack mothers, who'd worked for 3 weeks straight to complete it. You look like your mother, Margaret said softly, adjusting the silver circlet in Mia's hair. She would be so proud of you. Would she? Mia's hands twisted together. I read her letter. She was afraid of what I might become. She was afraid of what the world might make you become. There's a difference. Margaret turned Mia to face her. But you've proven that fear wrong. You faced darkness and chose light. You were given power and chose mercy. You could have become a tyrant, and instead you became exactly the queen we needed. Mia hugged her fiercely. Thank you. For everything. For raising me, protecting me, loving me even when you were terrified of what I might be. Oh, sweetheart. Margaret's tears dampened Mia's shoulder. You were worth every moment of fear. A howl rose outside, Cole's wolf, calling to his mate.
It was time.
Mia walked into the grove on bare feet, the grass cool beneath her soles, the moonlight painting everything silver and shadow. The assembled wolves formed a circle around the sacred space, their eyes glowing in the darkness. And in the center, waiting for her, stood Cole. He wore traditional ceremonial garb, leather pants, bare chest painted with the symbols of his pack, his dark hair loose around his shoulders. He looked like something out of legend, a warrior king waiting for his queen. But his eyes were only for her. Mia walked to him, and when she took his hands, the mate bond flared so bright that even the human-born wolves could see it, threads of silver and shadow weaving between them, binding soul to soul. Sophia stepped forward as officiant, her voice carrying across the grove. We are gathered under the moon's blessing to witness the bonding of mates. Cole Blackwood, alpha of the Shadowpine Pack, and Mia Silvercrown, queen of all packs, do you enter this bond freely? I do, they said in unison. Do you pledge to honor, protect, and cherish each other in this life and all lives to come?
Ido.
Then speak your vows. Cole went first, his hands tightening on Mia's. I was born to be an alpha, trained from childhood to lead, to protect, to put my pack before everything else. But then I met you, this girl who had every reason to be bitter and broken, who'd been treated like trash by the pack I was supposed to lead. And you were still kind, still brave, still so damn beautiful it hurt to look at you. His thumb brushed across her knuckles. My wolf chose you long before I understood what that meant. And now that I do, now that I know you, truly know you, I choose you too. I pledge my strength to your service, my heart to your keeping, my life to your protection. Forever. Mia's throat tightened with emotion. I spent 20 years believing I was powerless. And then I discovered I had all this power and I didn't know what to do with it. I still don't most days. But you, her voice cracked. You make me feel like I can figure it out. Like I don't have to be perfect, I just have to be willing to try. She squeezed his hands. You've been my defender, my advisor, my friend, and my lover. And now I want you to be my mate, my partner, my equal in all things. I pledge my power to our future, my trust to your honor, my love to your soul. Forever. Forever, Cole echoed. They shifted together, her silver wolf and his black one emerging in perfect synchronization. Their wolves circled each other once, twice, 3 times, then pressed together, neck to neck, heartbeat to heartbeat. And the bond snapped into place. It was like nothing Mia had ever felt, a completeness so profound it brought tears to her eyes, even in wolf form. She could feel Cole's emotions as clearly as her own, could sense his wolf settling against hers like they'd always been meant to fit together this way, could feel the absolute certainty that she would never be alone again. The wolves in the grove howled their approval, and the sound rose to the heavens like a prayer. When Mia and Cole shifted back to human form, they were wrapped in each other's arms, and Sophia was smiling through her tears. I present to you, she announced, Queen Mia Silver Crown and her mate, Alpha Cole Blackwood. May the moon bless their union and the pack bonds that flow from it. The celebration that followed lasted until dawn. Months later, Mia stood on the balcony of the newly rebuilt pack house, watching the sun rise over Shadowpine territory. So much had changed. The pack house was bigger now, expanded to accommodate the steady stream of wolves who came seeking the Queen's guidance. What had started as a single pack's home had become the seat of a new council, one that represented all the territories, where disputes were settled through dialogue instead of bloodshed, where a powerless girl who'd been laughed at now presided over the future of their entire species. You're up early, Cole murmured, wrapping his arms around her from behind, his bare chest warm against her back. Couldn't sleep. Mia leaned into him, marveling as she always did at how perfectly they fit together. Big day. Nervous? Terrified. Today was the formal coronation, the ceremony where Mia would officially accept the crown of the Wolf Queen before all the packs. It was more symbolic than anything. She'd been acting as queen for months now, but symbols mattered.
Tradition mattert.
And Mia had learned to respect both, while still forging her own path. You'll be amazing, Cole said, pressing a kiss to her temple. Just like you are at everything. I almost started a war with the Western Packs last month because I forgot to use the proper greeting. But you didn't start a war. You laughed at yourself, apologized, and won them over with your honesty. He turned her to face him. That's your gift, Mia. You're powerful enough to demand respect, but humble enough to admit mistakes. You're exactly what we need. A commotion below drew their attention. In the courtyard, Nathan was training a group of young wolves, including several from the former Blood Moon clan who'd pledged loyalty to the new order. Among them was Ashley's younger sister, Kara, who fought with a determination that reminded Mia painfully of the girl who'd bullied her. Ashley, who died in the raid, who Mia had forgiven posthumously because holding on to hate only poisoned the person holding it. I never thought I'd see Blood Moon wolves training alongside Shadowpine, Cole mused. People can change. Packs can change. Mia watched Jake emerge from the healer's lodge, no longer bound in chains, his corruption fully purged, though he still moved carefully. He'd asked to stay, to serve his sister's court, to atone for his crimes through service. Mia had allowed it. With conditions. Under supervision. But she'd allowed it. Speaking of change, Cole said carefully. Margaret mentioned something interesting yesterday. Oh, she said your scent has shifted. That you smell like. He paused, and Mia could feel hope and fear warring through the mate bond. Mia, is there something you need to tell me? Mia's hand drifted to her stomach, where a tiny new presence had made itself known just 3 days ago. Too early to be sure. Too early to announce. But unmistakable to a wolf's senses. I was going to wait until after the coronation, she admitted. Didn't want to overshadow. Cole kissed her breathless, then dropped to his knees, pressing his forehead against her still flat belly. A pup, he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. We're having a pup. Are you happy? He looked up at her with eyes gone wolf-bright with joy. Happy doesn't begin to cover it. Terrified, yes. Ecstatic, absolutely. But Mia, a child. Our child. A new generation that will grow up in a world where wolves from different packs train together. Where queens rule with mercy. Where being different is celebrated instead of mocked. Mia's own eyes burned with tears. Where powerless girls can become anything they dream of. Our daughter is going to be incredible. Or son. Either way. Both ways. All the ways. Cole stood, cradling her face like she was made of spun glass. Thank you. For this. For everything. For choosing me. Always, Mia promised. The coronation took place at sunset in the old grove, because Mia had wanted to honor the place where she'd first embraced her power. Thousands of wolves had gathered, more than had assembled in generations. Every pack in the territories sent representatives. Even the distant clans from the mountain territories and coastal regions had sent emissaries. All of them had come to witness history. Mia walked the processional path in a gown of pure silver, the crown of light blazing above her head. Margaret walked on her right, Cole on her left, and behind them came Sophia, Liam, Ethan, and a dozen other wolves who'd stood with her from the beginning. Even Jake walked in the procession, at the very back, hooded and silent, but present. A reminder that redemption was possible for those willing to work for it. The Council of Elders waited at the sacred oak, 12 wolves representing the oldest bloodlines, the keepers of tradition and law. Elder Eleanor stepped forward, carrying a physical crown forged from meteoric silver and set with moonstones. It was ancient, worn by queens for 1,000 years, hidden away after the massacre and only recently recovered from a secret vault. Mia's silver crown. Eleanor's voice rang out. You stand before the council and the assembled packs. You have proven your bloodline, your power, and your wisdom. Do you accept the crown of the Wolf Queen? Do you pledge to serve all packs with justice and mercy? Do you swear to uphold the ancient laws while guiding our people into the future? Mia took a breath, feeling the weight of the moment, the eyes of thousands upon her. She thought about the powerless girl she'd been, the one who'd been knocked down and laughed at and told she was nothing. That girl was gone. But she wasn't forgotten. She was the foundation upon which the queen had been built. I do, Mia said clearly. I accept the crown. I pledge to serve. I swear to lead with both strength and compassion. And I promise that as long as I wear this crown, no wolf will ever be made to feel powerless again. We all have gifts. We all have worth. And we will build a future that honors that truth. Eleanor placed the physical crown upon Mia's head, and it merged with the crown of light, becoming one. Power surged through the grove, every pack bond, every wolf connection, every thread of magic that tied their species together, all of it flowing through Mia, anchoring to her, recognizing her as the center. As their queen, the assembled wolves dropped to one knee, pressing fists to hearts in the ancient salute. And Mia stood tall, no longer the laughingstock of the pack. No longer empty blood, but the Wolf Queen they feared. The Wolf Queen they respected. The Wolf Queen they loved. Later, after the formal ceremony ended and the celebration began, Mia found a quiet moment alone with Margaret. "Your mother would be so proud," Margaret said, dabbing at her eyes. "I wish she could have seen this." "I think she can." Mia looked up at the moon, full and bright and beautiful. "I think all the queens can. And I think they're finally at peace, knowing the bloodline continues." "About that." Margaret's smile turned knowing. "Cole told me. About the baby. He can't keep a secret to save his life. He's excited. You both deserve this joy." Margaret took Mia's hands. "You're going to be an amazing mother." "I hope so. I'm terrified I'll mess it up." "Every parent feels that way. But you'll have help. You'll have Cole, the pack, me, a whole support system. Your child will grow up surrounded by love. And power," Mia added. "If they inherit my wolf, then you'll teach them to use it wisely, just like you're doing." Margaret squeezed her hands. "You've already broken so many cycles, Mia. The cycle of cruelty, of fear, of power corrupting. You'll break this one too." Movement caught Mia's eye. Cole was approaching, followed by Sophia and several other pack leaders. "Sorry to interrupt," Sophia said, "but we have a situation." Mia's heart sank. "What kind of situation?" "The good kind, actually." Sophia grinned. 3 more packs just sent word. They want to join the alliance. And the Western clans are asking if you'd be willing to mediate a territorial dispute that's been going on for 50 years. "They trust you," Cole added. "They trust the queen who shows mercy, who listens before she judges, who proved that strength doesn't have to mean cruelty." Mia looked around at the celebration, wolves from different packs dancing together, sharing stories, building connections. She saw former Blood Moon members laughing with Shadow Pine warriors. Saw young wolves who would grow up in a better world than their parents had known. Saw the future she was building, one choice at a time. "Tell the packs we'll welcome them into the alliance," she said. "And tell the Western clans I'll meet with them next month. After." She pressed a hand to her stomach. "After I've had a chance to rest. Being queen is exhausting." "Being pregnant and queen is probably worse," Sophia said sympathetically. Cole's arm wrapped around Mia's waist, protective and proud. "Which is why she's going to delegate more. Right, my queen? Right, my alpha?" Mia leaned into him. "I'm learning that I don't have to do everything alone anymore." "You never did," Margaret said softly. "You just didn't know it yet." The celebration continued around them, music and laughter and hope rising into the night sky. And Mia stood in the center of it all, crowned and mated, and carrying the next generation of queens, feeling more powerful and more loved than she'd ever imagined possible. The powerless girl was gone. The Wolf Queen had risen. And her story, their story, was just beginning. A year later, the nursery was painted silver and midnight blue, with a mobile of stars and moons hanging above the crib. Mia stood in the doorway, watching Cole rock their daughter, little Helena, named for the grandmother she'd never meet, and felt her heart overflow with love. Helena had her father's dark hair and her mother's silver eyes. And when she'd shifted for the first time at just 6 months old, impossibly early, a sign of incredible power, her wolf had been pure silver, crowned with light. The next queen. But for now, she was just a baby, gurgling happily in her father's arms while he sang a lullaby in the old tongue. "She's got you wrapped around her tiny finger," Mia said. Cole looked up, and his smile was devastating. "Just like her mother." Flatterer. Truth-teller. He carefully placed Helena in her crib, where she immediately grabbed her favorite toy, a stuffed wolf that had once been Mia's, saved by Margaret all these years. "She's going to be incredible." "She's going to be herself," Mia corrected, moving to stand beside him. "Whatever that turns out to be, queen or healer or warrior or scholar. We'll love her no matter what." "Agreed." Cole pulled Mia close. No pressure.
No expectations.
Just love and support and teaching her to be kind. And strong. That too. They stood together, watching their daughter sleep, and Mia thought about how far she'd come. From the powerless girl they'd laughed at, to the wolf queen they feared and loved, to a mother, a mate, a leader who was still learning, still growing, still figuring it out one day at a time. Thank you, she whispered to the universe, to the moon, to whatever cosmic force had guided her through darkness into light. Thank you for showing me that powerless was never what I was. Thank you for the struggles that made me strong. Thank you for the love that made me whole. Thank you for proving that every ending is just a new beginning. And as the moon shone through the nursery window, bathing them all in silver light, Mia could have sworn she heard her mother's voice on the wind. You did it, my daughter. You became exactly who you were always meant to be. You became yourself. And that was always more than enough. Hey there, beautiful souls. What a journey, right? From the powerless girl they mocked to the wolf queen who changed everything. Mia's story proves that our greatest power often comes from our greatest pain, and that mercy can be the strongest force of all. If this story touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop a comment below telling us, what was your favorite moment in Mia's transformation? Do you think she made the right choice showing mercy to Jake and Ivy? Where are you watching from right now? Your comments fuel these stories, and your support means everything to Cindy's Wolfheart Stories family. Share this with someone who needs to remember that being different doesn't mean being powerless. It might just mean you're destined for something greater than anyone imagined. Until next time, remember, your power was never in what others saw. It was always in who you chose to become. Much love. Cindy's Wolfheart Stories.